welcome to episode 75 of the Lead Out Loud podcast. I am Professor G, and I am joined again today by... Oh, shoot, I forgot your fancy nickname that we came up with the other day.
It was Mariam, lover of strippers, Laes.
Yes, Mariam, lover of strippers, Laes. Oh my gosh, you have the best nickname ever. If
you don't know what that's referencing... Yeah.
That's right. Go listen to episode 74, where Mariam gets her nickname. All right, we're doing things a little bit differently today. This is not a film. I forgot to say, this is another Real Leadership edition of the show. See, you're on a show. I just called it a show, Mariam. This is a television show episode. We will be diving into Season 5, Episode 2 of Modern Family, which this particular episode hails from, hold on a second, 2013. This aired on September 25th, 2013, so, wow, I don't do the math.
But still relevant. This is the beauty of Modern Family. I'm going to plug for Modern Family. It's such a relevant show. Even today, like I'll rewatch it from the beginning, from start to finish. And the theme, since it just follows a family, the themes are just so relevant.
So for people that maybe have never seen Modern Family, do you want to give like a 30-second hit on what is the show about before we dive into the episode?
Yeah, so the show follows these three families that are all related. So you have Jay, who's the patriarch of the family, and he's been remarried now to Sofia Vergara, Gloria, and they have a child. And then there is his daughter's family, Claire, who's married to Phil Dunphy. They have three children. And then it follows Jay, the patriarch's son, Mitch, and his husband, Cam, or partner, I guess. Spoiler alert, they end up getting married. And they have an adopted daughter. So it's interesting. It's like a blended family because you have one very traditional like couple and then with the three kids in the house. And then you have a same-sex couple with an adopted child. And then you have Jay, who's the father in the older generation. So you kind of see all the generational differences and the different family dynamics.
Which are going to become topical in today's episode, those generational differences. It's also probably worth noting that, so Jay is a closet magnate. So he started a company called Pritchett's Closets. So that is the family business. Claire was out of the workplace for a while, raising the kids, and then decided to get back to work. And she has now gone to work for Pritchett's Closets. So Jay is still, at this point in the show, he is still the active CEO. Mm-hmm. And now Claire's coming in. Claire's husband is a real estate agent. I'm not sure that really presents itself in this episode.
Not relevant to this episode.
Maybe nobody needs to know that. Gloria does not work outside the house. Those two characters, they will come up, so I don't know, maybe that's relevant, maybe it's not. Okay, so that was a great summary, by the way, Mariam. I feel like I know so much about Modern Family now.
Go watch it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's great. It's
a great show. The writing is fantastic. And this episode, so there's a handful of episodes that I've seen where I thought, man, there's some great little leadership nuggets in here. So this being one of them. Again, the premise of this episode, Claire is going back to work. Also happening in this episode, so it's basically fall. The kids are all going back to school. Mm-hmm. And Manny and Luke, who are let's see, what are they? They are...
Manny is his step-uncle, technically.
Yeah. Manny is technically his step-uncle, but they're the same age. So they're both starting high school at the beginning of this episode. And actually, I think that's a good place to maybe start our discussion. So you have Alex and Luke are siblings, and Manny is technically their uncle, even though Manny and Luke are the same age. So Manny and Luke are starting high school. Alex is heading back to school. I can't remember if this is her first year of college already. No, she's still in high school as well, right? So they're all three of them, though, are kind of looking for some independence. And, it's back to school. Even Lily is going back to school. All the kids are kind of like, ew, Dad, like, get away from me. We're at school now. You can't give me a kiss goodbye. I'm just going to go. And this is Lily's first day of, I think it's kindergarten. And so they, that's a big deal. That's a milestone. So they're dropping her off expecting like, oh, she's going to be so sad. And they get to the school and she's just like, peace out. So that's kind of the first theme. Each episode of Modern Family usually has these overlapping themes where you're seeing the theme show up in each of the vignettes, each of the family vignettes as the story's told. And in this case, it's independence. So the kids want independence. The parents are feeling excluded. So Phil and Gloria, so that would be Phil is Luke and Alex's dad, and then Gloria is Manny's mom. They end up, kind of together at the after the kids have gone to school. They're like, oh man, that was kind of a letdown, and so they're both kind of feeling excluded. And they say, hey, let's go get some coffee. And let's see. So I think that's kind of that story element. I don't know if you want to dive in now to any of the leadership ideas that are there, or if we want to just keep outlining what's happening in the episode.
I think we keep outlining what's happening.
Okay. So that's that piece. Do you want to cover? You want to cover what's happening with Claire?
Sure. So Claire is starting her first day at work at Pritchett's Closets. So again, Claire is the daughter of Jay. Jay is the owner of Pritchett's Closets. She has not been in the workforce it's been over a decade, because basically she left the workforce when she was pregnant with her first daughter, who at this point is in like community college. So wow, it's been like 12 more. It's been like 18 almost years since Claire's gone back to work. And she has a marketing degree. So she's educated, but she's been out of the workforce. She wanted to go back to work, but she found it difficult after being a stay-at-home mom, obviously, to get back in. So her dad's like, hey, come work for me. And she's like, okay, fine. So Claire's starting her first day of work. And I don't know, should I go into the details of kind of how it unfolds, or?
I mean, I guess if you just keep it, you could talk about what she does when she gets there.
Yeah, so she shows
and her
up to
dad's
work.
reaction, and then we'll dive into the meaning behind it here in a minute.
So beautiful, sweet, wonderful Claire shows up to work with a plate of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, because she wants to, show people that she's one of them. She's not just the boss's daughter. She wants people to warm up to her. And Jay, her father, is immediately like, throw those cookies away. What are you doing?
Well, he doesn't tell her to throw them away. He says,
leave them here. And that's funny, because later the plate is empty and he's clearly eaten all the cookies. But yeah, so he basically tells her,
what happened to the cookies?
Yeah, he tells her, like, what are you doing? You're not here to be these people's friend. And so this is kind of where the friction begins, right, in the generational differences and leadership styles between Claire and Jay.
So, okay, before we dive deeper into that, there's actually two more pieces of the story that are happening. So Mitchell is an attorney. He is, actually, wait, let's see. It's, no, it is. It's his, shoot.
It's his boss. So he works for this guy, who is like Mitchell's an environmental lawyer, and Charlie he's like a millionaire, billionaire, or whatever, and he is trying to find like environmental things to get involved with. So he hires Mitchell on to help with all of that.
And the reason I got confused is because Haley plays a role in this little, vignette, and I was confusing So Haley later goes to work for a boss that's kind of equally
Yes.
self-absorbed.
Yes.
Basically, the
Yes.
female version of Charlie, which is Mitchell's boss here. So Mitchell again wants to be included. He also wants to be liked, and so he he thinks that he's exasperated by Charlie, his boss, and he's got this long list of things that he wants to go through. And Charlie comes in, and he's always going like gallivanting off, and doesn't make a lot of time to run the business, to do the hard things, which is what Mitchell's there to do. So Mitchell's trying to get through this list, and Charlie's like, "You've got 30 minutes. Now you only have 29 minutes." And then because it's Lily's first day of school, but she walked into like the brick wall because she wasn't paying attention. So now he's not going to send her to school. So he had to bring Lily with him to work, and he calls Haley to come pick her up. And so Charlie gets distracted by Haley, who's this like 20-year-old pretty girl. And now he doesn't have time he's not going to make time for Mitchell anymore. That's boring. He's like, "Yeah, you watch your own kid. I'm going to go talk to Haley." Simultaneous to that, we have Cameron, who is, at this point, you're right, it's Mitchell's partner. They're not married yet. Cameron's he was a middle school teacher. He was teaching at the middle school, and that ended. So now he's a substitute at the high school. He gets called in to go sub a history class. Again, desperately wants to be accepted and liked, so doesn't know anything about history and is freaking out. Stops by the drama department and dresses up like George Washington, goes into the class, and of course Alex is in the class, and she wants, again, going back to the independence thread, she wants nothing to do with Uncle Cam, who's kind of embarrassing her because he's doing this big fancy in character, who am I kind of thing. And then later it turns out that Cameron, he's like, "No, this isn't going to work. I can't be a history teacher." And so he goes out to the principal, and the principal is coaching the football team because they don't have a coach. They don't have a football coach. So the principal, Brown, that's his name, he's just in perpetual like, "I'm going to go solve the next problem. I'm going to firefight. Oh, we don't have a teacher. This teacher called out. Okay, let's get a sub in." Doesn't care that Cameron can or cannot teach the topic.
Right.
Cool. Great.
He even makes a comment, says subs usually put on a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he does not care. He's like, "Problem solved. There's a warm body." I'm done.
Exactly. And then at the end of the episode, Cameron comes out to tell him, "Look, I can't do this." And he's just casually like, "Hey, are you going to fix what those guys are doing, the football players? How come they're not running the plays?" or whatever he says. And the principal looks at him like, "What are you talking about?" And so Cameron just starts shouting at the football players. And now the principal's like, "Ooh." He realizes, I can just hand this off to somebody else, and now I don't have to worry about it anymore. Again, he's firefighting. So he says, "Hey, how would you like to be the new PE coach, and you can coach the football team?" So all of that is happening throughout the episode. Those are the simultaneous vignettes that unfold. And with that, where do you want to start on leadership? Because we teased a few things already.
I know. Why don't we start with let's just go in the order like that the show presented us with, with the characters. So why don't we start with the kids going to school? That's kind of the first vignette we touched on. It actually opens with one of my favorite lines from the show. This is not when the kids are going to school, but Claire's like getting ready for work. You see the families getting ready in the morning. This is kind of how the show always opens up. You see them in the beginning of their day. And Claire's running around trying to get ready for work. And she's telling her husband, Phil, I'm going to be busy today. So I need you to run to the grocery store and do this. And she says something about her marketing degree. And then Phil goes, "Speaking of marketing, we need more milk." Just like Phil is so reliant on Claire to run the house that like the second she's leaving the house and asks him for a little bit of help, he's useless. And it's just one of my favorite lines. Speaking of marketing, we're out of milk. It's one of my favorite lines in the show because it's a throwaway, but it's so good. But anyway.
But Phil, first of all, hopefully your husband doesn't watch or listen to the show, because I feel like this one hit a little close to home perhaps for you. But also, Phil is the king of the non sequitur, like just saying those things that don't connect with what was already happening, which is part of the brilliance and the comedy of his character.
Yeah, yes, he's one of the funniest characters. But then, to give a little bit of perspective on the type of character Claire is, she is very grounded, she's very practical, she is a very type A, high strung, which is what made it interesting then when she goes to work and her, leadership style that she decided to lead with. So, I mean, we can start there, I guess, instead of the kids. Let's start there.
Let's go into that.
It's really the biggest story, the Claire for leadership. We're going to look at Claire in the workplace and Jay. So, what I love about Claire is that I am Claire. And as much as I try, it's funny but rationally, I know what the right thing to do is, or what makes for a stronger leader in a situation. Like, I know what you should do, but instinctually, in the moment where Claire's like, oh, I want people to like me, because it doesn't, I don't think it comes from a place where Claire desires to be adored by others. It comes from a place of she wants to be able to relate to the other people. That's really where this is coming from. So she's trying to say, oh, I'm not the boss's daughter. I can relate to you guys. But her way of showing that wasn't the best. And it led her down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's earnest, I think, is a appropriate word. She's too earnest in her desire to... I'm going to disagree just a little bit. She wants all of the good things that come with being the respected resource, the beloved boss, without having to do kind of the hard things. Like, in her mind, the hard thing is bringing cookies in so that everybody likes her. But really what she's after is the result of relationship building that takes time. Right, nobody comes in on day one and is just automatically everybody's friend, let alone somebody who's at the top of the org chart and related to the boss.
Yeah. That's a hurdle. That's going to be a hurdle for her. But the nice thing about the show, if you were to continue to watch, you see Claire work through that, and she does reach a point in her leadership where she reaches a point where she's basically, she doesn't care about that anymore, and she just owns it. She owns that she was the boss's daughter, and she's basically, yep, and I am now running the company, and I am the authority figure, and she has a much more balanced, and I think a better leadership, a more mature leadership style than what we see in this first episode. So it's kind of beautiful to get to see a normal progression of that. But yes, in this episode, Claire comes in, she's a mess, just trying to get everybody to like her. She's making really awkward jokes around the water cooler, and no one's having it, right? Which then makes her even more desperate.
Well, yeah. So, okay, this is a great leadership lesson for the managers out there, the people that are maybe aspiring to be that beloved go-to figure. She's trying so hard, goes into the break room. Oh my gosh, you guys are actually around the water cooler. And what's the first response she gets back from somebody? Well, I have chronic dry mouth, so I have to be near the water, right? And then, Phil had given her a cheesy, joke.
Christopher Walken.
Right.
Walken closet.
Who do you think I am? And it's like a Christopher Walken closet, right? It's cringy. She's cringy. Trying so hard that now it's cringy, and it has the opposite effect. Yes.
People are totally turned off. Don't do that. Don't be the try-hard leader. And I will say this too. This is true for try-hard leaders who come in guns a-blazing and try to act like, oh, I'm the hot shot here and I'm an authority and you're going to do what I say. It's like, no. People are immediately going to shut down. I've experienced one of those people. He came in from day one demanding respect based on a title. We didn't even know this person's name. They were saying things that they thought were authoritative, but actually just made them look dumb because it's like, you clearly don't even understand the situation. This situation is nuanced, and the fact that you think it's so simple, you've lost all respect, all credibility.
And that's
in 5 minutes. And and it's
that
not
is the
good.
risk
So
with coming in guns a-blazing like that.
yeah, you have to be really careful. Either way, like you just when you come in, people. This is so corny, but it is kind of true. People have to say, "Oh, all good leaders, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason." Like you should listen before you speak. And the irony is, people who usually go around saying that don't follow their own advice. Right. So but I get what they're saying there, which is like when you're new and you're coming into an organization, even if you're eager to and you're excited to get started and get to know everybody, understand that takes time. Like you said, Sean, relationship building takes time. You will earn it. Put in the work. You will earn it. You'll earn the credibility. You'll earn the respect, but don't come in with either way. Don't be like overly nice and trying to invite everybody to a barbecue at your house.
Not in the beginning.
Not in the beginning.
Yeah, let it grow organically.
Yeah, what? Like what? Who are you? And then also don't come in and be like, oh, well, I know what's best and do what I say and just go do this. And it's like, okay, guy, you calm down.
You touched on something there too that I want to go back to. You said, well, if you've got to tell me that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, then that's an indication that you probably don't practice that. That is so universally true, I have found. The people that have to tell you how great they are, or the irony of somebody telling you how great their emotional intelligence is. And it's like, well, the fact that you're even telling me that tells me that maybe that word, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
It's like they're so desperate to be emotionally intelligent that they feel the need to talk about it all the time. And it's like, demonstrate it. Don't talk about it. Yeah. Demonstrate it. Show us with your actions.
Anybody that's ever told me they're a great communicator turned out to not be a great communicator.
So does that mean I'm a good driver because I tell you I'm a bad driver, or?
So, okay. Cringe. So Claire makes it cringy. And then we're introduced to this character that I think the writers, I'm sure it was intentional. This is kind of how it works out. The character of Todd, it becomes this amalgamation of, or maybe a metaphor is a better way to put it. But Todd is like the metaphor of why this is dangerous. It's all these things packed in. Because now Claire goes into her dad's office, and he, of course, it's unclear, like, did somebody come in and tell him about Claire's cringy water cooler exchange? Or he's got the surveillance cameras right there next to his desk.
Because he quotes her like, directly.
Yeah.
I think it's like, okay, I also couldn't figure out if it was both. So my takeaway was he probably overheard his employees making fun of what she was saying. Which is like even worse, right? Like he's probably like, "Oh my God, I told her not to do this."
Yeah, and I forget what she says right at the end, but you're right. He quotes her exactly. Oh, you got a thing or whatever it was.
Yeah, a thing.
She goes, yeah, that got away from me a little bit. But she's so excited. She goes, but I'm going to lunch. So one of them asked me out to lunch. This is great. And he goes, don't you say? And she simultaneously, Todd. You can't go to lunch with Todd. Why not? He's so nice. Because this might be Todd's last day. So Todd's the IT guy. Mm-hmm. And we are led to believe that Todd's not good at his job. Either he's unreliable. It kind of makes it sound like he's unreliable. He doesn't show up on time. And maybe he's not very good at the actual technical aspect of his job. That's a little unclear. But the setup is, okay, low-performing employee, time to take corrective action. Doesn't really matter what it is. In this case, we're talking about termination. And so now Claire's in this position where she's going to lunch to try to befriend and get to like her, this person that is not a very good part of the team, and also might no longer be part of the team.
Yes. And she knows this information, but he doesn't know this information.
And she was told by the older, wiser person, right? Doesn't even have to be older. The person who has been in the organization much longer than she has. She just got there. He started the company. That's not important that he started the company, but he's been there for decades, okay? She throws his advice away and says, and basically decides that, well, this is a generational thing. You just don't understand. Because her dad, Jay, is telling her, hey, you're in management. You want respect. You're not trying to be their friends. You want respect. You got to keep your distance. And she's like, oh, Dad, that's the old way of doing things. You're too cold. You don't understand. So she's ignoring the advice, which now goes back to kind of what you talked about, these new leaders that like to come in and go, well, I know everything about all the things, and I'm just going to go, and this is how it's going to be.
Yeah, it's her lunch with Todd is such a well-written scene, and Todd is such a weirdo. But again, the writing on the show is just so well done. But the beauty of Jay's character is that he is wise, and there are so many times where at least I find myself, I'm like, well, I'm inclined to kind of agree with Claire in the moment. And then something will play out and you'll see, oh, okay, no, you know what? Jay was right in this. Like, he's not just like old and like stodgy and like, there was a reason he said that. And it was probably because of a lived experience. And then there are times in the show where, you know, Jay is old school and you can be like, oh, Jay, you're such an old man or whatever. But it was just nice in this episode to really see him like shine, because we never got to see him at work as a leader. We always saw him as like the patriarch of the family. And in that dynamic, he can be very stubborn and closed-minded. And so typically it's like the family against him, and then he's the one whose mind you have to change. But in this episode, he was like really in his element, and he was the expert, and Claire should have trusted what he had to say. So I did enjoy that. I did enjoy getting to see that play out.
And you know, as I watched that all play out and it gets to the end where Jay is, you know, proved to be correct, which we'll talk about here in a second, but it brought to mind one of my favorite lines that I originally heard from one of my managers, which is, it's hard to be humble when you're right all the time. And that's kind of Jay. So that fits Jay perfectly, because the way they write his character, a lot of times what happens, and you don't see it quite so much in this episode, but you see it in some other ones, where he's right from the beginning. Somebody either doesn't listen to him or deviates, and he's trying to tell them, but they don't listen. And then he's proved to be right, but then he'll kind of back off of it. He doesn't come in and go, well, it's hard to be right, hard to be humble when you're right all the time. He just kind of like goes, you know what? Fine, whatever. And he doesn't even acknowledge perhaps his role in making the things, fixing whatever got broken because somebody didn't listen to his advice. And I do think, again, they're kind of putting into each of these characters this composite of, all right, so Jay's the boomer. That's your favorite joke, right? Stop being such a boomer. So they put all the boomer stereotypes into the character and into this scene and the way it plays out. And Claire, they put all of like she's not even, you know,
she'd be a millennial.
I don't think she would be. I think she'd be Gen X. I think
you're right, actually.
Gen X,
yeah. Because it was filmed so long ago. But
yeah,
if she were her age in today's time, she would probably be a millennial.
She would definitely be a millennial. But I almost went to millennial because she's behaving a lot like a millennial would. Oh, I want everybody to like me. And, you know, work is supposed to be a fun place to go.
Which is why I identify with Claire.
There you go.
I would really struggle with this too. I would be the person who went to lunch with Todd and would be holding this info in me, and then would do what Claire did, which is, can we get into it a little bit of what happens at the lunch? So Todd, first of all, Todd is the worst. He's so boring. He has like pet turtles. He's talking about how you know the gender of he's the office weirdo. Okay.
Well, And the way the scene unfolds, they're sitting at lunch, and he's referring to names.
Right,
And he's referring to the names as if it sounds like they're kids, they're children. And then you find out in a reveal, oh, it's his turtles.
Even Claire goes, oh, those are your turtles. So you're like, this freaking guy. And this always happens to me, and I always befriend the office weirdos because I feel bad, and I just want to believe that, like, there's good in everyone. And anyway, so I saw myself in this moment with Claire, but she is sitting and she's like, oh God, okay. Todd reveals that he is about to close on a house. And Claire is like, oh God, no. She's thinking, right, how am I going to get out of this? And she's like, oh, it's now, the best time. Oh, and he said, oh yeah, well, my partner, so she finds out he has this wife, but she's like an art degree, history degree or something. It's like, oh my God,
she's getting her PhD, and she goes, oh, in some, she throws out something useful in some like high in demand thing in Latin.
In Latin, yeah. So Claire's trying to stop Todd, right? And so she can't tell him he's about to be fired, but what happens is Todd then says, oh, I'm going to pick up lunch. She's basically like, I don't think now's a good time to buy a house. And then Todd says, oh, okay, you've been so kind. Let me get lunch. And Claire says, oh, no, Todd, you can't. So I think he puts two and two together. It's never revealed that she says.
I think she does.
I don't know that she does. So I guess she tells him.
That's my,
you're
right.
No, you're right. She tells him because later she references him saying, oh, thanks for letting me know. So I have time to get some things, put a plan together.
Now I have time to make a plan. And then as she's saying that back to her dad, she's kind of hearing it going, oh.
Yeah, because what happens...
Yeah, go ahead.
What happens is she gets back to the office and everything, all the IT stuff, all the systems are amok. Like, nothing is working. Their database has been wiped. Like, everything. Clearly, Todd got his revenge. And so...
Yeah, Jay's shouting to his assistant, Marge, why can't I log in? And she comes in like, the whole system's down. Where's Todd? We can't find him. And then Claire's in the corner going, I might know something about that.
Yeah. So it turns out Claire spilled the beans. Her dad's like, what did you do? And Claire basically admits to spilling the beans. And that's when she has a realization that, okay, Todd has done this now and he's left the company. And it ends with, I really liked it. I like the way Jay teaches lessons. This touches back on what you said, which is like, even when he's right, I mean, yeah, he has that one line where he's like, oh, it's hard to be humble when you're right in this episode.
He never says that.
He never says it. Like, he never says, I told you so. Ever. And that's the beauty of Jay. Like, he is right. You hate that he's right. He doesn't rub it in your face. He lets his kids learn the lessons on their own. Like, he tells them, don't do this. This is going to fail and blow up in your face. It blows up in their face. But then he doesn't like go around huffing and puffing and being like, I told you so. He's just kind of like, yeah, you had to learn the hard way like me. And he like appreciates that life is, sometimes that's how you learn your lessons, the hard way. So Claire,
let's dive a little deeper into the lessons that Claire should have learned here, because she goes to lunch with Todd. It is none of her business, nor should she have inserted herself into what Todd is going to do. Like, that's not, she's trying to intervene to prevent him from going and buying a house because she knows he's going to get fired. But like, the two things are, she put them together, they're separate.
Right.
It's not her job to watch out for his financial well-being. And going back to maybe some of that emotional intelligence, it's also not her responsibility if he doesn't have enough self-awareness to realize, I'm late all the time. It seems like the boss doesn't like me. No, I'm killing it at my job. I'm going to go and buy a house even though my wife is getting a PhD. The fact that his wife's getting a PhD in Latin tells you everything you need to know. That and the turtles, right? So
the turtles. He even says, oh, this house is a bit of a stretch for us, but it's worth it.
Right.
And she's like, oh my God, Todd.
Yeah. Now, so I don't get me wrong. I appreciate Claire's empathy, but she overstepped. Which, this is a tough leadership lesson to learn. You have to find that dividing line between, okay, where am I your boss and where am I your friend? And in some cases, you might have employees that are your friend, and then you have to navigate that relationship. in many cases, it's kind of better if you're not. And actually, one of the as you were kind of describing the way some of this unfolded, I thought about, I have a hard time sometimes with hiring, because you're in an interview. Part of your job is to generate rapport with the candidate so that you can get the information you need, and you're trying to determine, are they going to be a good fit? But in the back of my head, I'm always thinking two things. One, I don't want to get stuck with the weird employee that is hard to manage.
Todd.
And number two, I'm like, maybe I'm interviewing 5 people and I've got room for one person that I'm going to hire. So like, it's a little hard for me sometimes to have that conversation where we're like getting all chummy. And then in the back of my head, I know that this may end with, hey, thank you so much, but we've got to move on. And you have to remind yourself that this is business. It's a little cliched to say, hey, it's just business. But the reality is you have to separate it, right? This is the process. This is how it works. And everybody knows how it works. And it is what it is. And it's not personal. You can't make it personal. It's the transaction. This is how we do it.
Yeah. I having been interviewed by you, Sean, I will say I think you do a good job of making people feel comfortable enough in an interview where they can be their true selves, basically. Like you kind of pull that out of them because you come into it like a sense of humor. The thing I freaking hate, and I've been in an interview where this has happened, where someone's like, "Sell me this pen." I'm like, what are we getting out of this? What is this telling us? This is telling us nothing. You're making the person like super nervous, right? So, but so there is this. There is a balance. We're not saying don't have any empathy.
Especially if it's not a sales job.
Yeah, especially if you're in manufacturing. Like what? No, but there is. I think this is really, really hard to navigate, and I think I don't know if this is true, but I'll just speak for myself. The reason I find it difficult as a millennial to navigate this empathy, like the right level of empathy, is because I have worked with under very authoritative types of leaders, and I know how that made me feel, and I don't, as a leader, want to make somebody else feel that way. So I maybe overcompensate and am a little bit too empathetic where I should be, or a little bit too, chummy with people where I cross that line of like, I do care about people. I do become friends with a lot of my coworkers or the people that work under me. So it's really difficult to do, because when you have a good work culture, when you have great coworkers and you do mesh, you naturally do become friends. I mean, you and I became friends. You were my manager, right? And we got along so well. And anyway, so it's just really, it's hard to navigate. What is that line? I definitely think Claire crossed it. I don't disagree with you. I just, like, as a real life human being, I know the difficulty of that situation, of being in that situation.
Okay, so first of all, I am contractually obligated to say that this episode is sponsored by Headroom Advisors. Go to headroomadvisors.com to learn more. Number two, thank you, because somewhere in there was a compliment from you to me, which doesn't happen often. Usually you're claiming I'm a boomer and making fun of me, so I appreciate that. But I'll give you a compliment too, right back. Okay, what made our relationship a little bit easier to navigate when you were a direct report, you're good at your job. What always made it a lot easier for me, and I'm thinking to a particular instance where, and I'm going to sound like an a-hole right now, but I made a grown man cry once in a performance review meeting. That was not my intent. I wasn't trying to do it, but it happened. And I actually, while I had some empathy for, the fact that, all right, he's upset, I was able to soldier on through that conversation pretty easily, because there were some very specific things that I was pointing to where he did not do a good job at his job. And in fact, there were some pretty big failures that, frankly, he could have been terminated for. And so I was like, I am now in, okay, well, look, here's the facts of the case. What makes it harder is when you have somebody that comes in and maybe they're kind of good at their job, but they're struggling, and you've got to give some tough feedback. Okay, that's a little difficult. Like you want to be friendly, or maybe they even are your friend, and now, okay, they maybe know. But when somebody's like, well, no, I think I'm doing a bang-up job, and you go, okay, well, you didn't do this, or this that I asked you to do, and they're like, well, yeah, and then they start arguing with you. It's kind of like my kids. Like, all right, game on now. I don't feel bad at all.
Which is, I think in this case, which is what was happening with Todd. Like Jay was very, like there were a lot of
right,
like
Jay
things
knows
that led. Yeah, Jay knows that. Claire was made aware of it and still decided to pursue this lunch and get emotionally attached. So that's where it's like, no, Claire, you should not have done that. You should have had your lunch, excused yourself, or made a bit excused, like, oh, I'm so sorry, Dad's going to take me to lunch on my first day.
Yeah,
and just not gone. And yeah.
Okay, so this vignette does end at the end of the episode with Claire saying something to the effect, this might even be a direct quote, but maybe I should listen to you.
Yeah, because Claire she ends up, this is good. This is a positive leadership trait, taking accountability for your actions. She realizes that this wiping of the database is her fault. So now she is hand jamming in records from like 1990, whatever. And she says, oh, it's like 7 p.m. and Dad's going home. And she's going, oh, I'm up to 1998. And he goes, yeah, well, maybe next time which is how long I've been doing this, he says.
No. He says, oh, I'd already been in the business for 20 years by then.
Yes, I'd already been in the, and then she goes, and that's probably why I should have listened to you.
Yes.
So it was like, it's a really cute kind of like acknowledgement of, okay, Dad, like you do know what's best when it comes to business. Not just, just because you're my dad doesn't mean I have to roll my eyes at you. But I did appreciate her stepping up and doing the work, right? She didn't just say, oh, well, not my problem. It's like, yeah, she effed up and now she has to fix it, and her dad gets to go home at a normal hour because he would not have made the same mistake. So that was good.
So, okay, let's go to Mitchell's boss real quick. I just want to kind of do a flyby on him, Charlie, and then because then I want to spend a little bit more time talking about Cameron and Principal Brown. I think that's a better storyline. But just like they've kind of put this composite of a bunch of, they've made Todd the composite of the difficult employee. Mitchell's boss, Charlie, is kind of now the reverse of Jay. He is the toxic boss who is aloof, doesn't care about the people, right? He's very dismissive of Mitchell. And then, his priorities are chasing women and having a good time. Like, leading up to this, part of Mitchell's complaints, he's talking to Cameron early in the episode, and he's like, oh, I can't take Lily to school today because I have one opportunity to talk to Charlie because this is when he's coming back from his ski trip, but he's about to go do something else. And so, like, he's got to go and get that time in with him. And I just wrote, I don't know how deep you want to go here, but I just wrote self-absorbed. And he's...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's made his money and now he's just enjoying his life. But at that point, you should step away from the company, I think. He has no interest in running the company. And so he's also... And he's actively, it sounds like from what Mitchell's saying, he's actively making decisions that are hurting the company. And now Mitchell's trying to kind of stop him, like, hey, hello, pay attention.
Yes. And that's kind of also shown where he's wearing some new design.
Athletic gear, yeah.
And he asks Haley, what do you think of this? And she starts picking it apart and tell, well, it should be tighter here, it should be this. And he's like, yeah, I know it's crap, isn't it? Right? So he knows, but he didn't care. I don't know. Yeah, he's the antithesis of Jay, and I think that was intentional.
Well, and Jay is kind of more traditionally portrayed as like an alpha male type leader. It's not, and I wouldn't even call Jay toxic. So it's not that. It's more just like, because he's so old and has been in the business, he's so experienced, not old, he's so experienced, right? He does come across as like, I know what's best, do it my way. And he's typically right. And then whereas Charlie is almost like a startup founder who has like startup bro, if you will. Like
Yes.
he just has like no interest. He's just like, oh, I'm here to get like to cash in, get my money, and then like pull women and go on these trips. He parked his helicopter on top of, the reason they only have 30 minutes is because he parked the helicopter on top of a building that does not have a helipad. And actually towards the end of the conversation, the like roof starts to cave in or something.
That's right. That's right. You know what? I didn't even put it together when I think Haley goes, "What's that sound?" And he goes running out, and
Yes.
I forgot about that.
It's because his helicopter is parked on top of a strip mall building. So he just does not care about anyone or anything except himself and his life. And yes, he's very self-centered. So they are that's how they intentionally portrayed as like just two very different types of leaders. Both of them are running companies. They're just very different. Yeah.
What would you say to somebody in Mitchell's position? Like, what? Okay, he works for a guy like Charlie, could be a gal, but what's your advice there?
Oh, that's really hard. That's really tricky because Mitchell has to be the adult in the room. And he gets there because when Charlie comes, Mitchell's kind of like, oh, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to be real with you. But then he reaches the point where he snaps. And he basically is like, Charlie, stop. You're acting like a child. I don't care if you fire me. Here's the reality of the situation, which is how he should have been managing. Like he has to do a lot of managing up. So we talk about different styles of leadership and ways to lead, and managing up comes into play. That's a very, very difficult thing to do, but it does make you, I think, a better leader in the long term. When you work your way up, you then have like a different set of skills that you're bringing to the table.
In this case, I think I would give the advice in 4 words. I've actually given this advice to people before. Find a new job.
Oh, really?
Maybe not
in this economy.
Maybe maybe not right away. I agree. There is something to be said about managing up, but sometimes you can only manage up if there's if it's received. Okay, managing up is not condescending either. Like you need to manage that relationship. Management is 2 ways.
Right.
Yes, you have the manager and the direct reports, and so that's the more natural flow. Okay, I am managing the people that report to me, but then also the people that report need to learn how to manage their manager, or manage the relationship, maybe is a better way of saying it. And so what I would say to Mitchell here is, yeah, okay, give it a shot. See if he's receptive to that feedback. Can you smack him upside the head and go, Charlie, no? And he goes, wow, you're right. Okay, cool. He's receptive. But if he's constantly going, hey, no, Charlie, no, that's a horrible idea, and he's going, okay, now you only have 3 minutes because I got to go, It's time to leave.
It is time to leave, but it's a luxury to be able to jump from job to job. So, yeah, he definitely had to be, I don't know, I just think he had to be the adult in the room and not worry so much about what Charlie thought of him. Or it's hard though. I mean, job security, you don't want to get fired.
Well, okay, and fine. Let's dig in a little bit deeper there. Yeah, you don't want to get fired. And that's kind of why I'm saying find a new job, because you got to be careful. You phrased it as, well, it's a luxury to find a new job. No. There are circumstances where you need to get out. It's not a healthy environment. It's toxic. Okay, that's part of it. That's number one. But number two, you want to be in an environment where it is more likely than not that you will be able to do your best work. You want the environment to bring that out of you. If the environment is not doing that, then it's going to be a constant struggle, and you're going to be A, frustrated, and B, unable to do good work, because the environment those antibodies are actively working against you. And I'm not saying that, hey, the smallest little bump in the road means, okay, I'm out. I'm talking about that sustained, chronic, okay, nobody's listening, the boss doesn't care, he's not receptive. Yeah, it's time to go find a place where you can contribute more value.
Yes. Okay. No, I agree with you. I agree. I concede.
Let's talk about Principal Brown and Cameron
Bless.
Tucker. Okay, so they have a need for a sub on the first day of school. And I can't remember the exact reason. There's something that happened with the teacher that's supposed to be in there. They got sick, I think. They went on
She's
a
an
trip.
alcoholic.
Oh, is that what it was?
So he goes, oh, she's on a trip to rehab. Yeah.
Okay, I totally missed that.
Yeah.
I just remember it was kind of like, vaguely, and he kind of indicated that she's probably not coming back.
Correct.
I guess I wasn't listening and watching closely enough. I think I was making my lunch at the time.
You were making your vodka.
No, so I like this little dynamic here, though, because, again, they've taken a composite of several leadership traits and sort of dumped them into Principal Brown. Principal Brown is probably overworked. That's kind of the impression that we get.
As most probably school administrators and teachers are, and expected to do more and more every day.
Yeah, so he's got too much to do, and he's in firefighting mode. So He's not going around solving systemic problems like, I've got this person out. We don't see him in the hiring committee or putting the job posting out. We see him scrambling to find a sub.
He doesn't even know what type of substitute teacher. Like, Cameron doesn't realize it's for AP history until he gets there. So yeah, he's truly just like, oh, I just need anybody to come in. He's not thinking, oh, the person who comes in will probably stay long term, so I should maybe at least find a history buff to come teach the AP history, right? Like, he didn't do any of that.
Which, I mean, okay, that's part of the sub game, right? And I'm picking on him maybe a little.
Is that how that works? I'm not like you. Your wife's a teacher, so.
Yeah, I mean, so in the short term, especially on a same day thing like that, yeah, you're just finding somebody to come in and babysit the kids. And then you're going to go and solve the bigger problem. So it's not unusual that the sub coming in is not an expert in the field that they need to teach. But I'm kind of referring to, we keep seeing him, the scenes we see him in, it's like conversation after conversation where he's just like, oh, let me bring the fire extinguisher over here. Cool, those flames are out. Then he comes over here and he puts those flames out. Meanwhile, this one's still smoldering and the flames are going to come back. And that was the impression I got from him. I'm like, man, this is perfect. We're filling out the metaphorical arch here with yet another manager who's maybe not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Or doing he's not solving, he's not taking the systems approach. Right? He went and solved this one little problem, but he's still got, I mean, look, he brought Cameron in to teach the history class. You almost get the sense that he didn't even realize, like, he probably told somebody, hey, we need a sub, and then he went on to whatever he needed to go to do. And then he's, out there on the football field, and this dude is just, like, so out of his element. And so he sees one little thing that Cameron does, and he's like, oh, there's no interview, right? I guess that's what I'm getting at. There's no due diligence. It wasn't, oh, cool, let's bring you in. Now, part of that, of course, is the show and the way it's going to be portrayed. But for our purposes, yeah, he just, on a whim, oh, you know what a football is and how to throw it. How would you like to be a full-time teacher here at this institution?
Right.
Just like that.
And Cameron goes, does it pay? No.
So, again, which brings us back to, we have a problem here with a bunch of characters where their priority is wanting to be liked instead of wanting to either be good at their job or to contribute meaningfully. They have the wrong focus.
Do you think Principal Brown wanted to be liked?
No. I think Principal Brown is a little bit closer to Charlie, Mitchell's boss, in that he's not even going to care. I got to be careful because some of this, I know what happens 3 seasons later.
I know, so I know it's hard to isolate the episode.
But I mean, let's not bother. Let's not isolate it. Okay, so you get a few seasons down the road, and Principal Brown. Let's see, the vice principal. They fired the vice principal, I think, or they left. I can't remember. And so Cameron is filling in, and they're searching for a new VP, and Cameron's in the running, and
Yes.
and Principal Brown basically is telling Cameron, "Hey, I just need to make sure you need to do whatever you can to keep our college enrollment numbers up, the number of graduates that are going on to a college, because that's going to make me look good. We're going to be a gold star school, and if you can do that, the job is yours."
Yes. Yeah.
That's more of Charlie than, say, even Claire, who just wants to be liked, right? He's not trying to be liked by his team. He's trying to put himself in the biggest possible light.
It's more ego.
Yes.
Yeah, more ego driven as opposed to like external validation. It's more like an ego thing.
So no, I don't think. I think we can kind of see even in this episode, yeah, no, Principal Brown's not trying to be liked. We don't see any evidence of that. And then we know from later episodes that, no, that's not his goal.
Yeah.
That's Tucker's goal. Cameron's goal, like perpetually, is how is he perceived? And kind of the pair of Mitchell and Cameron, like they're very into, oh, how's this going to look with all of our gay friends? Like they're so judgmental. We got to make sure that we're doing the things so that they're not making fun of us.
Those are like some of the best episodes too. Oh God, I love this show.
Those are actually my least favorite episodes. I can't stand the character of Cameron. He just annoys me so much because he's such a whiny little bitch.
I think he's so funny. Okay, so I used to think that. I used to think he was annoying, and then I really started to appreciate his character for like who he is. And then the layer that really just like seals it for me and makes it so funny is that the actor is straight and play his like the way he plays Cameron, he says he's playing his mom, which makes me laugh so hard. Like, so now all I see it from that lens. I'm like, oh my God, he's playing like a portrayal of his mother to be like a gay man, and because he's supposed to be the more like flamboyant of the pairing of the couple. Mitch is very like reserved and Cameron's just very like boisterous and out there, and but it just makes it fun. Like that layer just made it so funny to me. But knowing like in real life he's straight, but he's playing it up on purpose, and like the hand, when you see the hand movements he does, which they also talk about, it's so funny.
And I mean that part, yeah, okay, it's amusing. I don't think I'm supposed to like him. I don't like Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory. I can't stand his character either. I understand why the Sheldon character has to be there from a storytelling perspective.
But you are supposed to be annoyed by them. Yes, you are supposed to be annoyed by them. They are annoying. They're not.
Right.
Yeah.
But where I get frustrated with Cameron's character is like he's not very nice.
He's not. He's not nice at all.
He's kind of a dick. And I'm just like, God, sometimes I just don't even, his scene will come on and I'm just like, okay, this is when I'm going to run to the bathroom. This is when I'm going to go finish making my lunch, right? Whatever. So yeah, definitely his desire to be, hey, here's the lesson, okay? Don't let your desire to be liked outshine your desire to be effective. Because the two can be in conflict with one another. And that's what we saw with Claire.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good lesson.
All right.
Should we talk about the kids, like in school? I think I wanted to know on Alex. So Alex is a try-hard, and she's like teaching herself Chinese. She's doing all sorts of things. So anyway, right before school even starts, she's already reading her textbook and basically teaching herself before she even gets to class, because she doesn't want to fall behind. She wants to be number one in her class. So she's in the AP history, I think, class that Cameron is now subbing for. And Cameron doesn't know anything about history. Other than like, there's fun costumes to wear to dress up like maybe George
Yeah,
Washington. I don't know.
he's
who
reading the book
was-
as he's walking to class, trying to figure out
Yeah.
what he's supposed to teach.
And she's expecting a teacher who knows what they're talking about to come to impart wisdom so that she's prepared for the AP exam in 8 months or whatever it is. So once she realizes that like Cameron does not know what he's doing, she steps up and leads the class and teaches the class. And I thought, that's pretty cool. You know, she is nerdy and she doesn't always have them. She has self-confidence in that she knows she's the smartest person in the room most of the time. So she has confidence in her, knowledge, ability, like what would you call that, knowledge?
Yeah,
But
her book smarts. She's a stereotypical like book smart, not street smart person.
yes, but she is not at all popular. And she definitely comes across sometimes as like, oh, not sometimes, a lot of the times, like, oh, I'm smarter than you and I know it. Little smart aleck. Smart Alex.
I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, so it was nice to see her like step up and lead the class when she recognized we're not getting what we need from this. My other classmates are not, they're not receiving what they need to from this poor manager or poor leader. So I'm going to step up and I'm going to teach the class. Which I liked. I was like, that's kind of cool to portray a kid who's
But why?
exploring independence.
Did she do it for the class or did she do it for her?
Well, she knew that material. So she did it for the class. She thought she was getting a teacher back the next day. She didn't know that.
If she thought she was getting a teacher back the next day, then why not just let Cameron finish out the class session and we'll do better tomorrow?
I mean, yeah, okay.
I think I'm not saying that the only reason she did it was for her, but there's definitely a selfish interest here. She wants to be able to pass the AP class. And this is actually, we kind of skipped over this part of the story, but this is what gets Cameron walking out to the football field to tell the principal, I can't do this, is, hey, these kids have worked too hard and have too much at stake to be stuck with somebody like me that can't give them the instruction they need, which is basically what Alex told him.
Yeah.
So I guess my question, though, is Alex is she doing that for the class? Or I feel like the class is just the unintended consequence of Alex making sure that Alex is taken care of.
I think in that moment, Alex was being a good manager. And she was managing the project. The project is get us prepared for the AP exam. And she knew if they wasted a day, that she would be behind by a day. And so she kept the business engine running, and she was like, "All right, we're going to teach everybody." I think the reason I don't want to say that it was like it is selfish, but there's another thing in this too. It's okay to be a little bit like leaders. Of course, you're selfish because we're working towards our goal. We are leading a team to an outcome that we desire. Right? So you can argue, yeah, there's selfishness in that. Because if it was truly about just like, well, I just want to inspire everyone to be the best version of themselves, then it'd be like, oh, I'm running a manufacturing plant, but you know what? Jack is really into caricature art, so I'm going to hand him charcoal and like a pad and let him really explore his out. It's like, no. We're not leading people to be the best version of themselves. We're leading people to be the best version of themselves in pursuit of a goal that we have. Yes.
And so I'm going to amend my position to state, I'm going to give Alex credit. Okay, she's not just, it's not selfish interest. It is that her goal and the goal of the class, those goals are aligned.
Yes.
And Cameron is not able to help them achieve that aligned goal. So, okay, you're right. Yeah, there's a little bit of larceny in all of us. But I think the way to phrase that is, are our goals aligned? Because if the goals are aligned, it feels less selfish Maybe it is
Yeah.
less selfish. It definitely feels less selfish. Oh, it's not just I'm looking out for myself. I'm looking out for the goal, and my goal is your goal, which is probably an equally important leadership lesson.
Make sure your team's aligned on the same goal.
Yeah, it's hard to lead a group of people when, well, this group has that goal and this group has this goal, and, well, wait, we're going in different directions.
That's why you hear people use the word silos. Silos when people don't talk to each other, or they have different goals, different departments have different goals. And we get all into this when we talk about organizations and what KPIs should be used. And yeah, I think people love to talk. They love to talk about this. Leaders love to talk about it. And they love to say, well, my team is aligned. But then you go talk to the team and everyone's going in 50 different directions.
And look, at the risk of sounding self-serving as opposed to aligned to a goal, everything you just described, that's what our sponsor today does, Headroom Advisors. Yeah. You can learn more at headroomadvisors.com. Patent pending. I think that's a good place to wrap things up here. I got to tell you, we got a lot more mileage out of a 22-minute episode of a TV show than I thought we were going to. This was fun. Maybe we'll do some additional episodes of Modern Family. Maybe we'll do, since Big Bang Theory was invoked, there's probably some leadership lessons there that will involve me getting frustrated with the character of Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah, I would love to. Let's do that. Let's do a whole series of episodes. We could do The Office. We could do Big Bang Theory.
Office.
We could do Parks and Rec.
Yes, which I've never seen. So that'll give me an excuse to start watching it.
Yeah. So
I
stay
should
tuned.
literally start watching Parks and Rec.
It will literally change your life. Okay. Yeah. Stay tuned. All of these are brought to you by Headroom Advisors.
Excellent product placement, Mariam. We need to get like a logo here somewhere.
I know.
And for those of you that are unaware, Headroom Advisors is the company that Mariam and I started together to help founders scale their businesses, looking at a lot of the same things that we were talking about today. So with that, we have come to the end of episode 75. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Mariam, the lover of strippers, Laes. I am Professor G, and we will see everybody next time on episode 76.